Hi, my name is John Drux with LiveCalc.com. I'm doing a documentary commentary, now book, called Change, 2012. It's September 20th, 2012. And about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I was hit in the head with beliefs. And a little over a week ago, I was touched by the spirit of this man, my stepdad, Bob Herr, Purple Heart recipient for being shot in the head in the Korean War. And I truly believe he went up to heaven and really saw what kind of world we were living in. I'm guessing he didn't know. Because again, if anyone really knows what's going on in this world right now, it's a pretty scary place. I know a lot of you have your jobs and you have your kids and you go on from day to day. Again, you're looking at a guy that's been sitting on a couch for 5 years because he can't sell a house, because no one would listen to him 5 years ago saying that subject to unapproved listings in the multiple listing service. Real estate brokers advertise at prices they don't know they can sell it for. Everyone looks the other way. As 5 years later, now it's announced on the news that you draw a circle, a 100-mile circle around my condo. Guess what? Top 4 foreclosure markets in the whole country within 100 miles of my house. And my whole life was around the real estate market. My job, my business, house or the condo. Again, I told everybody, yelled it. Got to the top of person in California at the time. And the last question she asked me was, why do I care? That's the attitude we have in this country. Why do I care when I've lost everything? You're kidding me. As you live the high lifestyle. You know, I'm not going to get too close to identifying that person. But again, for anyone to ask me why I care when I've lost everything, I guess that's why I'm doing it. But that's the attitude we have in this country right now. It basically pushed me off a cliff when she said, why do I care? And it reminds me of when you got nothing to lose. This is the cover of the Rolling Stone magazine this month. And again, the theme song of my website, but it's the story of my life, is like a Rolling Stone by Bob Dylan. There it is. Just seems like almost everything I say and do for the last week, it's there. Excuse me. Again, everyone needs to listen up seriously right now. This country's in trouble, and actually I think we're being tested with time right now. Are we going to continue to live covered up lies? Or are we going to stand up and take our country back? I'm going to show you another thing here. This is a flag I'm going to keep until I see him again. This belonged to a kid served in the Iraq War that I met in Pismo Beach as he was riding his bike down the coast. Literally riding his bike down the coast. West Coast, I believe, all the way from at least like Portland or something. Through all the way to California. Because he was trying to clear his mind. He was going to peddle all those thoughts of those horrible things he saw in Iraq. He was going to try to peddle them out of his mind. Nicest guy you'd want to meet. Actually, he lives in Nebraska, and I'm hoping I see him again. I've actually talked to him on the phone since. But that kid went from hell and back. How many kids have lost their lives, lost their minds, lost their limbs, lost their blood? and it gets into what are they fighting for. Again, back Woodstock days, it was, what are we fighting for? Don't give a damn. Next stop is Vietnam. Well, now the next stop's Afghanistan. And if you listen to the GOP candidate, but at this point, you got to wonder really who's directing anything anymore. Next stop is Iran. Next stop is Egypt. Next stop is who knows where. Cuba. We're going to show Russia our backbone. This country's so broken, it's not even funny, and we're talking more wars, are you kidding me? And let's throw in some more tax cuts? It sounds like the voice of the secret society of the New World Order, who I believe the leader's named to be George. Just like in the original script of the video, Innocence, that's causing all the outrage, uprise in the Middle East. The original evil person was George. Goes back to, I decide what shirt I'm going to wear, and I'm wearing a shirt that I used to wear at work on holiday weekends. Memorial Day, 4th of July, Labor Day, at the resort I worked at. And again, I'm guessing it was about 1998, I was told, I'd like to say one of my co-workers, but I was his boss. So one of my employees used to read a book all the time at the desk, and people would give me a problem. And actually, what made me think of this even more is I had someone say, "Your boy," and he used his last name, "Your boy." Because again, this belief section is all about father-son relationships, and all of a sudden it made me start thinking back to those days at that Mormon hotel when he dragged me into my office one day and said, "Just remember one thing. George Bush is the devil." It's like, and then after having George W. Bush, I was wondering if you met him. But I know darn well who we met now, and that's what this whole message is about in this video. The evil person in this country is named George. It's not Muhammad, it's not a Muslim. That's all a false flag of the secret society of the New World Order. And again, if my belief is correct, George, you look to his father, a Nazi banker. He bankrolled the Nazis. What do? We let them into our secret service, and then we have all these mysterious shootings. One when he was vice president, to what many Americans, conservative Americans anyways, want to think that their hero is Ronald Reagan. I have a different opinion, but especially when I looked at who he picked as his vice president. But after talking to a trembling vet last night, after I'm telling him what I'm finding out, he's like, he knew. He watched friends die for nothing. He actually talked about, that's what made me look at the Reagan shooting, is he said that his unit was called, I guess it was called a blackout, before he was shot. Who's running this country anyways? That's what I want to know. Is it Barack Hussein Obama? Is it George? Who is it? That's why this world's so crazy. We don't know. We don't know who's running this country right now. And I'm guessing, again, it's only a belief. It's the secret society of the New World Order who's really pulling the strings here. Again, a Nazi banker, son. And then you look to the GOP candidate, Mormon candidate, with those unbelievable beliefs, being bankrolled by Jewish casino owners, one being an Israeli newspaper owner. So you got a combination of a Nazi and a Jew? That's a losing hand in my book. Because again, everything you see or I talk about can be seen on my Facebook page. It's my book, Change 2012, because we need to change in the year 2012, and quickly. Take a good look around you and see what you see. War, threats of multiple wars, at least from Romney, but again, it wonders really what's going on here. Is it maybe just a big false flag everywhere? That actually our current president and the GOP candidates really on the same team. The Secret Society of the New World Order team is what I'm wondering. I would like to not think that of our president, but he needs to stand up now and let us know. Are you one of us or are you one of them? Plain and simple. And if you refuse to look the other way, then I feel that people have no choice but to stand up, elect a third party, and uncover the truth ourselves. We cannot continue to live lies and covered up lies. The cover-ups are worse than the lie to begin with. Like we found out with the Catholic Church, Penn State, Boy Scouts now. All the marriages living two lives, basically. We got a serious problem. We got wars, we got money problems like you wouldn't believe. They were thinking about having to sell the national parks, for God's sake. To fight wars? We're going to sell our national parks to fight wars. You're kidding. It just gets into who knows about the secret society, because it's not so secret. You know, I was watching a Piers Morgan show on CNN, Jesse Ventura, and Jesse Ventura is a messenger, folks. I'm a messenger, whether I like it or not. Whether you want to believe it or not, that's up to you. But some things have been happening to me lately that, again, you're looking at a guy that's been talking into this camera for over a year and a half. First trying to change the housing market, then trying to change America. Because nothing makes sense. I can't continue living in a world that makes no sense to me. Last time I was at Yosemite, I wanted, basically, it's a beautiful place it is, I want to take a long walk off a short cliff, but it's also a very high cliff. Reminds me of a story when I was in high school. We went camping, and one of our friends, his name was Cliff, and we were at High Cliff, and Cliff walked off the cliff. He didn't get hurt, though. But believe me, how many things do we have falling off a cliff right now? Everything. Everything's falling off a cliff. It's because we're living lies. Covered up lies. I'm going to introduce you to one more person in my life. That was my dad, and I tried to look for something a little bit more when I was younger, but I'm going to show his football picture. He was known as Golden Toe. His name was Red Drux. And if you look at the name Red, think of the 70s shows. The father's name's Red. But I always thought if you're going to look at a TV show and look for my dad, it's All in the Family. Hippie time TV show. He had Archie Bunker. And that was my dad. And believe me, I think me and my dad would have had a real problem, especially over marijuana. My dad was completely against it, and it's like, he drank a lot though, and guess what? I don't drink anymore. But I really have a feeling that had he been living, I wouldn't be who I was because I wouldn't have been taught the facts of life at 9. But we would have had a major problem. I don't know if I would have been able to convince him. Maybe I would have been hitchhiking to California instead of going to college in California. But I'm going to have Red Drux ended for you, at least. And if anyone's ever seen me be challenged or something, you've seen this side of John Drux, and it's the Red Drux side of me. And it says, "Wake up! Wake up now! You are living under the secret society of the New World Order, who wants to play the end game. You got Nazis, you got Jews, but the Mormon. Wake up. You wonder why your world is no good, why nothing makes sense, why people want to go jump off cliffs. It's because we're living a lie, an covered up lie. We got sexual abuse problems, cover-ups. We're so broke it's not even funny. Wake up. It's now or never. It's 2012. So, again, John Drux, livecalif.com. Have a great day.